from VNR VGIT College. Some of the flagship programs of SF include Ideal, like Donate for Education and Learning, where we follow reduce, reuse, refurbish, and recycle principles. We recycle tons of papers every year and donate the books generated out of the scrap. Another flagship program in environment includes the Plan for the Planet project that currently we are doing. Under education domain, our recent program is Srujana Summer Camp. Like we reached out to nearly 200 students across 7 locations in India. With the service motive, we also program dynamically based on the need, such as like COVID and natural calamities. So this is a brief about our club.
Yeah. Thank you. Because it's shortage of time, I will directly go for presentation.
Yeah, sure, sir. Please go ahead.
Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, right. Thanks for your very kind introduction about me. Let me also tell about myself. I'm Dr. Gauri Shankar. I did my PhD in Seed Science and Technology from Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi. That basically I'm a trained seed researcher, but I have worked in different segments of agriculture research, and also I was an entrepreneur and a dean for a couple of agriculture universities in India. Apart from that, but I have a lot of passion for agroecological farming systems, which otherwise we call it in different names: organic farming, natural farming. Then some people call them as that biodynamic farming. But currently, I'm working with agroecological farming systems in Center for Sustainable Agriculture. Our office is in Tarnaka. I would like to thank Sridhar for inviting me to talk about the importance of seed and also how to take care of the seed. Before going that, I just want to refresh all of your minds, like with a very great saying in Manusmriti. It goes like this: Subijam Shukshetre Jayate Sampadayate. Like, do all like, understand Telugu here? I wanted to, if I can tell in Telugu, you people will appreciate much better than talking in English. Like, ఒక మంచి విత్తనము ఒక మంచి నేల మీద పడితే సంపద పెంపొందుతుంది అని దాని అర్థం. అంటే మన శాస్త్రాలు ఏం చెప్పాయంటే భూమి మంచిదై ఉండాలి, ఆ భూమిలో పడే విత్తనం మంచిదై ఉంటే ఆ విత్తనం నుంచి వచ్చే ఏదైతే పంట ఉంటుందో, దిగుబడి ఉంటుందో, అది ఎన్నో రెట్లుగా ఉంటుంది. అంటే మనం ముఖ్యంగా ఇక్కడ అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటంటే రెండు విషయాలు వ్యవసాయంలో కానీ ఒక మొక్కను పెంచడంలో కానీ ఒక చెట్టును పెంచడంలో కానీ చాలా ముఖ్యమైన పాత్ర పోషిస్తుంది. అది మొదటిది వచ్చి నేలకున్న సారం. ఈ మధ్య కాలంలో ద టెర్మినాలజీ నౌ వాట్ వీఆర్ టాకింగ్ నౌడేస్ ఈస్ నాట్ సాయిల్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఆర్ సాయిల్ క్వాలిటీ, ఇట్ ఈస్ సాయిల్ హెల్త్. ఏ మట్టి యొక్క సారం, ఏ మట్టి యొక్క ఆరోగ్యం బాగుంటుందో అందులో ఒక మంచి విత్తనం పడితే దాంట్లో వచ్చే పంట చాలా గొప్పగా ఉంటుందని దాని అర్థం. రైట్. Just this is the topic what was asked. Before going to that, we should understand what exactly is seed. అసలు విత్తనం అంటే ఏంటి, విత్తనంలో ఉండే ముఖ్య భాగాలు ఏంటి, ఆ ముఖ్య భాగాల వాటి యొక్క పని ఏంటి, దాని యొక్క కర్తవ్యం ఏంటి. ఇక్కడ ఫస్ట్ చూస్తే ఇది ఎంబ్రియో అంటారు. ఈ చుట్టూ ఉన్నదాన్ని ఎండోస్పర్మ్ అంటారు, దానిపైన ఉన్నదాన్ని సీడ్ కోట్ అంటారు. ఈ అన్నిటికి వేరు వేరు దాన్ని ఏమంటారు, వాటికి ఒక పని ఉంటుంది. ఒకటి ఏంటంటే సీడ్ కోట్ అన్నది విత్తనాన్ని పాడవకుండా కాపాడుతుంది. రెండు, ఎండోస్పర్మ్ అన్నది తిండి. అంటే ఎంబ్రియో అన్నది ఏంటంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ లైవ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద సీడ్. దిస్ యాక్చువల్లీ గ్రోస్ ఇన్ టు ఏ సీడ్లింగ్. ఈ సీడ్లింగ్ గ్రో అయ్యేటప్పుడు అంటే మొదట మనం భూమిలో పెట్టినప్పుడు, భూమిలో తేమ ఉన్నప్పుడు ముందు రెస్పాండ్ అయ్యేది ఈ embryo అన్న పార్ట్. ఈ ఎంబ్రియో అన్న పార్ట్ ఏమో చేస్తుంది.
Sir, I'm very sorry to interrupt. There are few of us like Rohit and one more person who does not understand Telugu at all.
Right. It's fine.
Yes,
I'll continue in English. Yeah. Embryo, endosperm, and seed pod, they have their own duties to perform. The embryo is the miniature plant, which actually grows into a young plant, and young plant grows into a tree or a plant. Whereas the role of endosperm is it is a reserved food material which supplies the food. Whatever energy, whatever food is required for the embryo, that is supplied by the endosperm. So these are the different activities of these parts of the seed. So whenever we are selecting seed, we should always select a seed which is very intact, which has a very, means like whose seed coat is not what do we say, damaged. So many a times we see a lot of seed which would have been damaged by insects, or maybe due to high temperature of high humidity, the seeds get cracked, develop a crack. So it gets automatically damaged. So whenever we select a seed, we should always see that seed is very much intact, and also the embryo is properly developed and endosperm is properly developed. You may ask me how could we do that? The only method we can do is by putting the seed for germination test. If the seed is properly germinating, I will come to that part. If it is properly germinating and developing into a nascent seedling, then we could understand whether that seed is live or not. In seeds technology language, we say it is whether the seed is viable or not, right? So this is one. And coming to the objectives of this presentation is like to understand the importance of selecting quality seeds. See, not every seed, one minute. Not every seed will give a healthy seedling. Means like not all the seeds are not of good quality. So whenever we are selecting a seed to propagate to the next generation, means like whenever we are using a seed to sow and develop a seedling, and that seedling is growing to a main field, means like our objective is always to use a quality seed. I will tell in next slides, I will talk about what is a quality seed, and to understand what are the basics of seed germination, and also identify what are the different types of soil. And we always have to understand, do all the soils are suitable for all the seeds? No. In certain soils, some seeds will not germinate or will not develop into a good seedling or a good tree. And because of this, every plant has its own requirement of nutrition or various soil conditions. So we have to identify which crop should be grown in which type of soil. Some soils are alkaline or some soils are acidic. Only few crops will grow in such conditions. In some crops, some soils are sandy, some soils are black cotton, black soils, and only certain crops grow in this. If you go with a nomenclature commonly used, black cotton soil, means like in black soils, cotton grows very well. But nowadays we see cotton in every type of soils. Means that is actually, we as a human, we are making a wrong choice, and we are trying to produce cotton in red soils, sandy soils, and finally the we blame the soil, saying that the soil is not responding. But the choice and the mistakes are made by the human beings. So for every crop, for every seed, it has a specific requirement, and only those soils should be selected for different crops. And explore the best practices in sapling growth and after germination. These are the things we have to understand. The first thing is, what is the importance of seed selection? Because seed is the most important input for producing a new generation. Means like why we are using a seed is to develop a new generation of a crop, and to develop a new population of crop or a new population of plants or trees. And so it is very, very important. That's why we should always try to identify, use a good quality seed to develop a healthy crop or healthy trees. Because what I understand from Sridhar, you people are more interested in not in crops, you are more interested in trees. So means like the seed is the very basic input which to develop a good tree. And to qualify it, a good seed is something which develop a plant or a tree which yields better or which has more resistance or tolerance to diseases and pests. Nature has given very, very beautiful characters to tree with different seeds, and means different varieties, different plants. Some have more resistance to diseases and pests, and some have very good uniform growth, and some yields more. And now the choice of human being is what you pick up. See, nowadays we are in the arena of using more and more hybrids. In developing hybrids, our choice, I mean, as a breeder's choice is always yield. But most of the women in our homes, they always complain. During those days, tomatoes are very sour, tomatoes are very tasty, tomatoes are very good. When we cook it, they are very soft. Nowadays the tomatoes, the so-called Bangalore tomatoes are not soft, they are not sour, they are not tasty. The problem is our farmers want more yield, so our breeders want to develop varieties or hybrids which yield more. The choice or option is only yield to produce more crop, but not the quality. That is why we are making a, it's like we are deviating from earlier days taste, order, or smell, order smell, or something like that, cooking quality, all this stuff. So that is again how what we select is our choice. Then most whenever we select a crop seed, it always impact farmers' income and food securities. See, nowadays there is a huge discussion on traditional varieties, indigenous varieties, and high yielding varieties, hybrids, genetically modified organisms, GM varieties, all this stuff. Means like the choice here is whether it is you are developing a hybrid, yield is for meeting the food security, yield is the primary criteria. For increasing the farmer's income, yield is the criteria. But when we talk about organic farming or natural farming, here we talk about more about traditional varieties. Traditional, because we talk about traditional, the only reason is traditional varieties are more resilient to pests and diseases. They have more the tolerance and resistance to pests and diseases, and also water shortage. And that's why and also the added advantage is most of the traditional varieties have very good taste and very good durability, also storability. So if we really select traditional varieties for going under organic and natural farming conditions, the farmers, the farm productivity will come down and farmers will come down. So now these are all the importance of what seed you are selecting and what we are growing. And criteria for quality seed, the first thing is always what is the germination percentage of the seed what we are selecting. Obviously, when we talk about a good quality seed, this germination percentage should be almost more than 80%. And most of the commercial seeds, their germination percentage is almost 90% or 95%. And whatever seed we are producing, that should be properly labeled and properly certified. And these seeds should be free from pests, disease, and weed seeds. And let me tell you, we can manage pests, we can manage diseases, but we cannot manage weeds if they come into your farm. Probably most of the people might have understood and observed weed seeds. Kalupu annadi, once it comes into your field, it is very, very difficult to control if you are practicing organic and natural farming practices. If there is a pest, we can manage the pest by using organic and natural farming diseases. And also diseases also we can manage, but weeds we cannot manage. And whenever we are selecting a crop, as I was telling, you should always select a seed which suits to your location, agroclimatic conditions. Many a times we do wrong choices. We bring a temperate or a tropical variety and bring it to a subtropical. Basically, our Andhra Pradesh is a subtropical climate. We bring something from a temperate condition, like from north, we try to grow it here. Or we bring something which is very, very hard crop and we try to grow it here. So we should always select a crop which suits to our agroclimatic climate and as well as agronomic practices. And let me not dwell much into it. What are the different classes of seed? One is open pollinated varieties, what we call, and other one is hybrids and genetically modified seeds. See, whenever we talk about seeds, the hybrid seed, we cannot produce seed out by using hybrid seed, because when we produce, when we try to produce seed on a hybrid plant, they actually segregate, and they will, the population what we produce from seed produced on hybrid plant will not be uniform. So if since we are much concerned about producing our own seed and developing our own seed sovereignty, we should always restrict to varieties like open pollinated varieties or high yielding varieties, where we can produce seed on this plant, and that's again that seed will produce true to type, 100% similar to the mother. So we should always, if we want to produce seed by ourselves, once again I'm reiterating, if you want to produce seed by ourselves or conserve seed by ourselves, never select hybrid seed, because whatever seed we produce on hybrid plant, they segregate. Means like they produce more than 10 to 12 types of different seeds when we sow it. So whenever we want to use our own seed, it should be only high yielding varieties, or otherwise they call as open pollinated varieties, right? Then these are the different stages of uh, germination process. When we put the seed in the soil which is moist, it means like which is given water with, to a saturation level. When we put the seed in the soil which is completely saturated with water first, seeds start absorbing the moisture. This process is called imbibition. And when the seed absorbs the moisture, the first thing happens in the seed is some enzymes called, I don't want to go into much of the details. It activates the enzymes called, some enzymes like amylase and all. These enzymes activates some plant growth hormones. And when plant growth hormones are activated, the cells start dividing and growing. That is how certain embryos start reacting to or embryos start developing. There are two parts which are very, very important. If you see here from the seed, there is something called a root, something called stem. This is actually the first primary root which comes is called radicle. The other one is called plumule. When the seed embryo starts dividing, it has automatically divides into two parts. One is radicle, which finally develops into a root, and other one is a plumule, which is otherwise develops into a shoot, right? So we should understand is, whenever we are putting the seed in soil, it should be properly, it should have a proper amount of moisture, so that seed start absorbing the moisture, and embryo starts, our enzymes in the embryo starts activated, and it initiates the cell division, and finally helps in the emergence of radicle, which develops into a root, and also activation of plumule, which develops into a shoot. So these are the very, very important. And please mind, the moisture should not be more or moisture should not be less. That's why I'm telling the soil should be saturated. It should not have more moisture. See, whenever there is moisture, the seed will not get sufficient amount of oxygen, or if there is no light, seed also will not get, the enzymes will not get activated. So there are certain conditions like soil should have sufficient moisture, soil should be properly porous so that it provides oxygen, and also it should have a warmth temperature. It should not be very high temperature or low temperature. That's why whenever, if you see most of the nurseries that they maintain in a greenhouses, where there is a proper temperature, and also there is they usually regularly give irrigation, so they have proper moisture. And coming to germination testing, whenever you are using a seed for growing into a crop, the very first thing you should always try to do is try to understand what is its germination percentage. Molaka శాతం అంటారు తెలుగులో. We should understand what is its germination. For that matter, you can take 10 seeds or 100 seeds. Take 100 seeds, put it on a germination towel. Okay. Germination towel should be properly moistened, or otherwise simple method what we can do in our house is take a thali, whether it is steel thali or a earthen pot thali, put sand on it, pour water on the sand, and pour as much as water in the sand, and finally you tilt the thali plate so that all the water, excess water is drained out. Once you understand that the soil, there is no excess moisture, you try to draw lines, vertical lines, maybe 10 lines, and keep 10 seeds in each line so that 100 seeds you can accommodate. Put it on a warm place for 5 to 10 days, then start understanding how many seeds have germinated and how many seeds are not germinated. Here you have to understand three things. Some seeds will not germinate. The probable reasons could be the seed is not properly developed, or seed is dead, or seed might have some dormancy. Every seed will have some sleeping period. Till that dormancy period is over, the seed will not germinate. And again, when you see seeds with proper plumule and radicle, there will be again two types of seedlings there. One seedling will be having a proportionate growth of root and shoot system, that we call it as normal seedling. In some places, root will be short and shoot will be big. In some places, a root will be big and shoot will be small, and these are called abnormal seedling. Whenever we are taking the count of germination percentage, you should always only consider normal seedling, which have proportionate growth of root and shoot system. Based upon it, you can understand what is the germination percentage of your seeds, which will go into the field conditions, right? When we are putting for nursery. Then I'm not much going to soil types and all. There will be different types of soils: sandy soils, clay soils, loamy soils, and silty soils. And these soils will have a different characteristic. In sandy soils, it drains quickly and they will be low fertile. In clay soils, they retain water, but there will be poor drainage. In loamy soils, which are very ideal soil, they will have good fertility and drainage. Whereas silty soils, they are rich in nutrients but cannot compact. It's like every soil will have its own character, and based upon the earlier I was telling, every seed need sufficient moisture to germinate. So you always have to understand which soil is to be selected. If there is no proper drainage in that particular soil, means like your soil will spoil. Your seed will spoil when you put for germination. If the seed drains whatever water immediately, like sandy soils, your seed will not get sufficient moisture to get the germinate. So you should always select, whenever you are growing nursery, you should always select a proper seed. That's why whenever when you people plan for growing a nursery, you should always consider three things. One is, for giving proper nutrition, your soil should be added with organic matter, means compost. The other one is your soil should have higher moisture retention capacity. That's why you should always add coco peat type of thing, which holds more moisture. And the other one is whether it's soil or anything, whatever is available. Whenever you are making a mixer for developing your nursery, you take 1/3 part of compost, 1/3 part of soil, 1/3 part of coco peat, and mix it thoroughly. And if it is possible, you moist it before putting into the trays, or you fill the trays, or fill the cups, or fill the whatever, wherever you are, whether plastic pouches or whatever, fill it, put the seed, and then irrigate, moist it. So your seeds will get sufficient moisture, right? And I'm not going much into it. Whenever you are using soil, you should always test it. And the most important thing nowadays, what we are talking is, the soil should have more organic matter so that it support more and more microbials, microbes, soil microbes, and also earthworms. You should always understand, soils will always have all the nutrients and micronutrients, but when the soils are not having proper activity of microbials, like potassium solubilizing bacteria, phosphorus mobilizing bacteria, zinc solubilizing bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria. If these bacteria is not available in the soil, though the soil is having nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all micronutrients, those nutrients will not be available to the root and the plant cannot take them. That's why nowadays we talk about soil microbia, soil micro activity of soil microbia, otherwise we call it as soil health. Means soil should have more and more microbes and more and more, all the microbes should be active. Means like soil should have more microbial biodiversity and all microbes should be active and contributing to the mobilization of various nutrients from the soil to the root zone. So that is more important. Whenever we are doing taking up land preparation, first it should be properly plowed and as much as organic matter should be added so that soil becomes fertile, right? And whenever we keep the germination, after germination, as it is shown here, you, when we understand the seedling is high, it of good quality when it has a proper growth of root system as well as shoot system. Once that is done, you carefully pull out from the plug or carefully pull out from the polythene pouch in which you are growing the seedling. So most of the time, what happens? There is a confusion. Like now, we people put the plant along with the plastic pouch. Are you people are doing this or no? Usually, many times we do put directly, or otherwise we pull the seedling just like that from the pouch and put it in the soil. It is like we are disturbing the root or we are spoiling the health of the sapling. So we should always handle the roots very, very carefully so that it is not damaged. Once the root is damaged, the seedling will get damaged. So again, it is very clearly shown here. This potting mix, this is called potting mixer. Potting mixer is very, very porous. If you can see this, it is very, very porous because it is mixed with coco peat or silica material so that it becomes very, very porous. Means like, as once again, I'm reiterating, whenever you are making a potting mixer, it should have 1/3 portion of soil, 1/3 portion of organic matter, compost, and 1/3 portion of coco peat. So that soil will have sufficient nutrition coming from compost. Soil become porous because of coco peat. Soil will have holding capacity because of soil. So this is one we have to follow. And whenever you are growing crops, what we have been doing in conventional agriculture is we use a lot of nitrogen fertilizers like urea, DAP and all. Actually, as we need proper amount of carbohydrates, proteins, fats as human beings, plants also need balanced nutrition and also sufficient moisture. And again, I would like to tell you, as we people eat breakfast in the morning, lunch in the afternoon, dinner in the night, plants, if you don't eat breakfast in the morning, you feel starved. If you don't eat lunch in the afternoon around 1 o'clock, you feel starved. If you won't eat dinner around 7:38, you feel starved. Sometimes if you skip breakfast, you may adjust for a day, and if you skip both breakfast and lunch, you will really starve. And if you miss all the three meals, you will become weak. The same is, and these stages in human, we call it as critical stages. The same is with the plants. Plants also need water or nutrition at certain stages. If you give water in those critical stages, that is sufficient. Means like when you see a crops, all crops need that much of water. If you see water for paddy, it needs water all through its life cycle. If you see maize, it needs maybe four to five times in its life cycle for moisture. Or if you see Bengal gram, it needs only two times or three times. Means like every plant is have its own critical stages for water as well as nutrients. And again, you should always understand plant needs nitrogen and phosphorus in the early stages, whereas it needs potassium when it starts flowering or developing seeds. So these things we need to understand. Like most of the time, I mean, we eat a lot of carbohydrate in the breakfast. That's okay for us. We can digest. We eat more protein in the afternoon, like something like that. We need to understand whether what plant needs, and we need to provide those things according to that, right? And the most important thing is pests and diseases. Whenever there are pests and diseases, don't go for chemicals, agri-chemicals, which are very hazardous to the plant itself and also some of the beneficial insects in and around, and also human beings. So we try to understand which are the botanically based or animal residue based bio inputs, and start using them for controlling the insects or managing the insects. And the one trick I just want to tell you, an insect will have 4 stages. One is egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Adult lays eggs, eggs become larva, larva becomes pupa, which is a resting stage, and pupa, adult comes from the pupa. And most of the devastating pest will be the pest stage of the insect will be the larva, right? So what best we can do to stop the more and more number of larvae is whether you stop adult to lay eggs. If there are more number of eggs, more number of larvae. So you try to stop adult from laying more eggs. And how we stop it? You stop mating between male and female so that female won't lay more eggs. So you first try to understand, trap the male and kill it. For that, there is some traps called pheromone traps. Pheromone traps helps. The pheromone traps usually smells like a female, and all male insects come and fall into the trap. Once those male insects fall in the trap, we can collect them and destroy them so that they will not be mating and female will not lay eggs. Eggs will not become larvae, and larvae will not eat the plant. Or otherwise, if the larva is the most devastating, you try to understand what are the viruses or bacteria, like Bacillus thuringiensis is what we call BT, or nuclear polyhedrosis virus, NPV. These things usually kill the larva. Or otherwise, you try to develop some space, whether it is based on Pongamia or neem, or which kills the larva. So this is how you try to understand how naturally we can manage the insects and reduce the loss. And whenever we produce seedlings, you always have to understand how to take care of the saplings. The most first thing we always have to do is, before going into the main field, most of the time what mistake we do is we bring plants from the nursery or whatever we are growing from in our nursery. We directly take the plant to the main field and put it in the soil. And we again, after some time, we see only maybe 50% or 60% or 40% surviving. And we always blame soil issue. It is not the mistake of soil, or it is not the mistake of seedling or sapling. It is our mistake. We are not making that sapling hardened. Means like we have to give some tough time to that so that it get hardened, right? So if you see the people who go to military and army and all, they usually get trained in the army schools where they get hardened. Then they go to the battlefield. So our seedling should also be get hardened and before going to the main field. So this hardening process, we have to do it. That means like gradually expose the saplings to outdoor conditions before final planting. And this helps actually to reduce the transplanting shock and increases the survival rate. So this actually the mistake we always do whether we are doing it in the nursery or main field. So we immediately buy from somewhere and try to put it in the soil. And finally we say, and sometimes many times we even properly not irrigate it, or and again, the most important thing is whenever we are planting, you make a big, means like as big as pit as possible. Whatever potting mixture I was telling earlier, 1/3 soil, 1/3 organic matter, 1/3 compost, 1/3 cocoa peat. You mix everything. You add something called neem oil or neem powder, and mix it thoroughly and put it in that hole where you want to put your sapling, and put your sapling and give sufficient irrigation. Actually, this gives a lot of support for the means like young seedling to develop into a good plant. This actually we usually don't follow. We buy a sapling from the market or we from the nursery and we dig a pit. We will put it directly and put soil there, cover it with soil, put some water, and we expect that it should develop into the strong seed plant. It is again a mistake. We should take care of the sapling, otherwise sapling will not develop into a healthy plant, right? And to summarize, start with good seeds, match the soil to the crop needs, prepare the land well, take proper care of the sapling, and it will develop into a healthy seedlings. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the explanation. So, team, any one of you have any doubts, please ask, sir. Sir is available.
Even whether this related to this or something else, you can always ask any question.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So, um I have some knowledge about seeds and this plant selection and also translocation shock, all of this. So there is also something called terminating seeds, right? Because of this seeds company profits and all, they are encouraging terminating seeds,
Terminator,
wherein we
terminator seeds.
terminator seeds. Sorry.
No
So
problem.
that which means that we cannot use, for example, if I have to grow tomato saplings, I cannot use the tomatoes that I'm getting from market to sow as seeds, right?
Terminator seeds, actually, it was a concept. I don't believe that some varieties have come with the technology, but again, let me tell you. What terminator seeds is, suppose you buy a seed from me, right? And you are growing that seed in the nursery, and from nursery, you are growing a plant. From that plant, you are getting a tomato. In tomato, there could be seeds. Usually, what they do is, there will not be seeds in the tomato. They remain rudimentary. Rudimentary means they won't develop into seed. That means at different levels, seed development will get aborted, right? It won't get, it means like one level where the seed will not be viable is the seed becomes rudimentary, it won't develop, right? If it is developed, whenever you put it in the soil, it will not germinate. Means like the germination is terminated at different levels. Whether it is, means like whether it is within the fruit womb, वहाँ पे it is getting aborted, right? Or otherwise, if it is seed is developed, if you put it in the soil, it becomes inviable. It won't become a plant. So this is the terminated technology, but nothing has come out of it. So it's like it is a concept actually. And India was against it actually.
So that means if I want to grow, like I am planning to grow papaya tree,
Hmm.
so can I use the seeds that I obtained from papaya fruit from the market? That's the doubt actually.
See, the point is, in most of the times, there is something called triploids, some hybrids, whether it is in watermelon also, watermelon or papaya, they are using a technology called triploidization, or means developing triploids. Actually, when we use triploids, the seed produced from the fruits triploid, they won't actually develop into a plant similar to the mother from which you have got. Suppose you bought a plant variety called ABC, means what, because of a lot of segregations and genetic reorientations, the seed whatever you are harvesting from the ABC will not be ABC when you grow. That is the trade secret most of the private companies they use. why private companies develop more and more hybrids, whether it is vegetables or wheat, maize or cotton or whatever, wherever commercial crops, in commercial crop, why private companies only produce hybrids? Because on hybrid seed, whatever they produce, the seed cannot be used as a seed. You got my point? The same is with the triploids in case of watermelon. In most of the watermelons, you understand, you see seedless watermelons or watermelons which can eat, seeds which we can also eat. Like means they are rudimentary seeds. So these are not terminator technology, but these are different types of hybridization process. So those seeds you cannot grow it as seeds to produce the same offsprings, same progeny, same next generation. That is the actually the breeding technique what private companies use. As a private, if suppose I am a private company guy, if I produce a hybrid or produce a seed and give it to you, and if you are producing your own seed and you are not coming to me, that is a loss for me, no? That's why these things do happen. Anything else?
Sir, I have a doubt actually. So you have said the mixture for the soil, no, sir, like soil plus organic matter plus compost. So these
Soil plus organic compost plus cocoa peat.
cocoa bean. So these things, so we should mix it while we after the sapling with the after the seed germinates or before the seed in the seed germination process, like.
No, whenever you want to put nursery, whenever you want to develop a seedling, you usually develop seedlings. If you are producing tree seeds,
Mm.
tree plants, you take it in a polythene pouch, right?
Yes, sir.
Or vegetables, you take, we call it as potting plex, where they will be having around 96 holes.
Oh,
Right? But they are got potting plex. First, whether it is your polythene pouch or your potting plex, first what we have to do is take 1/3 of organic compost. Compost again, it should be properly decomposed, right? Whether it is vermicompost or compost, take 1/3 and 1/3 of cocoa peat and 1/3 of soil. Mix it properly and fill the whether it is polythene bag or a potting plug with this mixture, and keep one, preferably one seedling in each bag or each plug, and irrigate it.
okay.
Because even polythene bag will have a holes at the bottom. So if there is more moisture, the water will go out. Means like the purpose is organic matter will give nutrition and cocoa peat will help in holding the moisture for longer time, right? And because it creates porosity, and also it helps in the healthy growth of roots. And even when you are planting these saplings in the main field, also you should dig a big hole. Don't put the sapling directly into the hole. If you mix same mixture, potting, this is called potting mixture. Put the potting mixture in the soil, in the hole, and put the sapling over it. And if you have enough money, you fill the even hole with the potting mixture, or otherwise you can fill with the soil. When we are going for saplings, transplanting the saplings, better mix neem cake, neem powder, or a pongamia powder, so that whatever is microbes in the soil, hazardous microbes in the soil, they won't damage the seeds. They work as insecticide.
Okay, sir. Sir, another doubt. So it
Yeah.
is like, so I want to germinate a particular type of seed. So I'll either get it from market or somewhere. So should I do any seasoning for that seed, sir, like prior to germination, like keeping for the germination?
No, actually, before putting for germination, you should not do anything. Uh, uh, Only thing you should do is put it in the means. before going to use all the seeds, you should test the germination percent of the. Suppose you bought a packet from me of 100 kg or something like that. You should know first anyway. The bag will show the details of how much, what is the germination percentage of that seed and all. That bag will show. Our packet will tell. But before using that, it is always wise to understand, because after using for means in germination process, first thing is you will be, if the germination is not good, you will lose the seed, and also you will lose a lot of time. Another 20-30 days you will lose. So before doing that, you test the germination of that seed. A simple technique I will tell you. You take newspaper, properly moisten it, and put 100 seedlings on the newspaper and fold it properly and keep it for 5 to 10 days. After 10 days, you open the newspaper and you try to, means like when you are, when folding the newspaper, you take a water, means like a bowl of water, and keep the newspaper in this, like this, standing position. So the newspaper will be taking the moisture from the bowl of water, and it will keep moistening the seeds. After 10 days, you take out open the newspaper and see how many seeds have germinated. Out of 100 or out of 10, how many germinated, how many have not germinated. Out of, if suppose, if you have put 100, 80 seeds have germinated, your germination percent is 80. And suppose when you are going to have a nursery, you want to develop 1,000 saplings. Now you understand that germination percentage is only 80% or 50%. To get 1,000 saplings, you have to use 2,000 seeds. You got my point?
Yes, sir.
So means like if you are seedling, see, when, because you are talking about tree seeds now, that's what you and I understand from you. Most of the tree seeds germination percentage will be very, very low. So suppose when you test the germination, if it is showing 50%, to get 1,000 seeds, 1,000 saplings, you have to use 2,000 saplings, because the germination percentage is only 50%. That is
Yes.
how to manipulate your or calculate your number of seeds used.
Okay.
So suppose you plan for 1,000 saplings and use only 1,000 seeds and you get 500 saplings. Means like your calculation is wrong and you have to wait for another 20-25 days to develop the saplings. So first thing, you always, when you buy from the market or from you take from me, the immediately what you have to do is to try to understand what is its germination percentage and use as many seeds as possible.
Yes, sir.
Am I clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear. And sir, like I have made the germination, but how could I know the seed is completely germinated? Like just by looking it, either
Just
to see
yeah.
any like leaves coming or
After 10 days, after 10 days or 15 days, if you see the seedling, like suppose it is seed, it is called, it is something is coming down. This is called radical, which grows into a root system. It is called plumule, which grows into a shoot. You should
yes,
always see that both are proportionate, like
like,
not
sir, it is
equal.
in soil, no, sir. The roots are in the soil that we can't see, but the upper part of the
None.
plant we
Means like
can see.
if you are testing in a germination, for germination, you can understand.
Okay.
See that's what, no. Even when you are putting in nursery also. Now, in the previous picture, I was showing like see, if it is a potting plant or a polythene bag, one or two you can pull and see, or cut the polythene sheet and see whether one or two is sufficient to understand whether your seeds are good or not. You see it, whether see this one, the root zone and shoot zone, they are proportionate. By seeing this, you can understand what is the quality of your seeds.
Okay.
Don't pull all the saplings and try because you are losing. One or two, you try
Mhm.
to do this.
Okay, sir. Team, any other doubts as it's 8:30?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, my friend is living at the hostel, sir.
Hmm.
So they want to try to grow the saplings, but they
Hmm.
don't have that much space. So they are trying to grow in the paper cups. Is there any tips would you like to give and share about?
Paper tips means like can she buy cocoa peat?
Okay.
Two things she needs. Four things is one is five things she needs. One is paper cup, paper tumblers, paper glasses, right?
Yes, sir.
And when she takes paper cups, she should make holes at the bottom, at least 2-3 holes, right? One thing, or paper or plastic cups, right? And she should have three things. One was as I was telling, one is cocoa peat. If she can buy cocoa peat, if she has soil in and around her house. And the third one is compost. Compost is available. Vermicompost is available both in Amazon. Even vermicompost and cocoa peat is available in Amazon, right? Ask her to buy cocoa peat and vermicompost, and ask her to take soil from her nearby place. She has to mix 1/3 of each. 1/3 of compost, 1/3 of cocoa peat, 1/3 of soil. Mix it properly. Put it in the paper cup, whether it is plastic or paper cup. Fill up to 1/3. Okay. These three should be properly mixed. Fill the cup to the 1/3 and put the soil, put the seed up to this depth. It's like fingertip undi kada,
Yes,
around
sir.
around 2 to 3 centimeters. Put the seed and press it, right?
Okay.
Then irrigate that, give water on that, because there are holes at the bottom. Whatever, if the water is more, it will get dry. And keep irrigating, keep giving water once in 10 days, not more, because of cocoa peat, it keeps moisture. It won't need much of moisture, and try to keep it under the warm conditions where she gets light. Light is very, very important. It should be warm. It should not be very hot. It should be warm. And one more thing she has to understand is, like, if she is growing indoor, after the sapling comes, means ఆకులు పైకి వచ్చిన తర్వాత, immediately that should be shifted to the open space. If you keep it in the dark, in the room, the seedlings develop into lanky. Means like అది పొడుగ్గా పెరిగిపోతుంది. అది proportionate గా పెరగదు. That is not a healthy side. It should be shifted to the outdoor. This is the best way of doing it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other doubts, guys?
Right.
Sir, I have two more questions actually, but I actually wrote the list of questions when you are talking. One thing is, like, what are the layman practices to control pest and diseases, even in our kitchen gardens or our own gardens? What are the layman practices? Like, neem oil is something easily available, and we are not going for any fertilizers or pesticides as such. So what is something that we can do at home to control the pest and promote the healthy growth of plant? This is one question. And the other question is, as you were saying that we have to select the seeds and also follow the practices based on agroclimatic conditions, what are some like, if you could suggest some seed varieties which are suitable for this climatic conditions of Telangana? Like, what are some seeds? Like, it could be fruits or shade giving trees. That is the priority that we have kept. Like, we are promoting the growth of shade giving and fruit giving trees, sir. So these are the two questions.
Means like there will be coming to the shade loving and these things. Not every plant will love shade. There are certain plants, certain
Sir,
crops that
shade giving, sir.
shade
Like
giving.
the big trees, yes.
Shade giving, most of the agroforestry trees are shade giving only. See, there are two types of trees. One is straight pole, means like they grow straight, like eucalyptus or media dubia or whatever it is, like Ashoka chettu, any straight growth. There are certain trees, they grow to certain level and they develop a canopy like umbrella, whether it is neem or mango or banyan tree or whatever it is. And again, you should understand certain trees emit more oxygen, certain trees emit more carbon dioxide, depending upon their respiration cycle. Probably you heard about we should not there is a saying, you should not sleep under the tamarind tree. Have heard about it? You should not sleep under tamarind tree. చింత చెట్టు కింద పడుకోకూడదు అంటారు. The reason why is in the night it emits more oxygen, sorry, more carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide when we take into inside, carbon dioxide actually creates suffocation. And but otherwise what we are taught is చింత చెట్టు పైన దయ్యాలు ఉంటాయి, పీకి నొక్కి చంపేస్తాయి అంటారు. But the issue is it emits more carbon dioxide that suffocates, and whoever sleeps under tamarind tree, they die. Right? So whereas banyan tree, మన బనియన్ ట్రీ ఉంది కదా, దాని చెట్టు కింద పడుకోవాలంటారు. ఇట్ ఎమిట్స్ మోర్ ఆక్సిజన్, రైట్?
మర్రి చెట్టు.
మర్రి చెట్టు. సో every plant has its own characters. So you should always try to understand what you want and what type of tree or plant you have to select, and that is how we are. And suppose you have plants, trees which gives a lot of shade, but there is a lot of soil, means ground under the tree. Whether you want to use it or don't want to use it, if you want to use it, there are some trees which also come up in the shade, like gokarkai antam kada, cluster bean or French bean or poppy, they can come up well in the shade. You can do that there. Means like depending upon your purpose, depending upon the climate, agroecological condition, you can always select the crops or trees. That is one. Did I answer?
Sir, I was actually asking the names of the seeds that we can use in Telangana. Like, what are some seeds that would be suitable for our climatic conditions?
There is one tree called Melia dubia. Malabar Vepa antaru. Malabar Vepa antaru. Then banyan comes up very well. So there are many crops, but most of the time nowadays a lot of this one. There is one tree you see everywhere in Hyderabad. They are using as a green wall. I forgot its name, but that is not good because the pollen of that tree actually is developing bronchitis and pneumonia in the human beings. That has been planted during Chandrababu's time in all over in Hyderabad on all the roads, but now everywhere they are cutting it. I forget its name.
The one with very small leaves.
Very
Decoration.
small.
May I interrupt? I think it is Saptaparni or the devil's tree. 7 leaves ఉంటాయి. పాల 7
కాదండి,
leaves.
అది కాదండి, అది కాదు. బట్ I forgot its name. But everywhere it was planted. Even many of the farmhouses, if you go around in Hyderabad, it is grown as a green wall. It actually grows like a wall. It's like if you have those trees, there is no need for having a wall also. So dense it developed. But the pollen is creating a lot of health problems in children, especially pneumonia and all. So now again, everywhere it is getting cut. So see the Pravalika, right? If you want the list of trees what you want to grow in Hyderabad, or means like in Telangana, means like you just let me know. I will give you the list. The most important, see, every time you have to understand whether you are growing a tree only for the purpose of having a tree, or whether we trying to have some sort of shade, or whether we want to do it for a sort of revenue out of it. Means like, what is your purpose? Suppose I want to grow a tree, maybe after 5-6 years, I want to cut it and sell it, so that and again I will have another crop, another tree. If that is called actually agroforestry, means like every time you can, means like Melia dubia, Malabar Vepa. Everywhere, if you see all new ventures in Hyderabad, Hyderabad, they put lot of Malabar Vepa, Melia dubia, and also they put lot of sandalwood. Sandalwood will not come in Hyderabad region, but still every farm layout, there are sandalwood trees. They put lot of eucalyptus, lot of risks, but they are not good. They won't come up well. But the one Melia dubia will come up very well. But what is your purpose? That is more important. See, if you ask me, I have a very small plot of a half acre in, means like in Srisaila Highway. Our purpose is to have all divine trees, like we have people tree, we have neem tree, we have Nagapushpa tree, so many trees. It's like all oxyrich trees. That is, we want to create a ecosystem where more and more small birds, not big birds, small birds. We want to attract small birds. We put the camel foot tree. It's, again, it depends. All these trees, as you said, all these trees will give shade only. But what is our purpose? Our purpose is we want to create an ecosystem where there is more oxygen. That's what I was also telling you. Under people tree, it emits more oxygen. Neem tree, it emits more oxygen. Whereas certain trees like Chinta Chettu, tamarind tree, it emits more carbon dioxide. What do you want? And suppose when I bought our person who sold me, he put a lot of sandalwood trees. I removed all sandalwood trees because I am not interested in that sandalwood trees, because that way anyway. I cannot even see sandalwood growing in my lifetime. It takes 25 to 30 years. I will not see that. So there is no need to have. So again, your choice is ours. What trees you want? Whenever you means like I heard from Sridhar is you people are interested in growing more trees, and whenever you are planning to grow more trees, see if you see the logic of Haritaharam in Telangana, KCR has a vision to cover almost 30% of land with the trees, which create better ecosystem environment. Means his more core purpose is to have trees which gives more oxygen or which absorbs more carbon dioxide. The two things: absorb more carbon dioxide or emit more oxygen. These are the two things, or the logic behind Telangana Haritaharam. They selected certain trees which serve the purpose. So you should understand what exactly is your purpose, what soils are available to, means like I cannot blanketly sell this tree will do good in Telangana. Telangana is having almost 101 types of soil types, 101 types of climatic conditions. If it is raining in Nallakunta or Ramnagar, it is not raining in our Rajendra Nagar. If it is raining in Rajendra Nagar, it is not raining adjacent Shamshabad. So there is no blanket solutions, as you asked me. Sorry to say, there won't be any blanket solution, but what you can always understand your purpose. Based upon the purpose, you can always select a plant or a tree. That's it. అందుకనే మన శాస్త్రంలో ఏం చెప్తారంటే దేవతా వృక్షాలు అంటారు. దేవతా వృక్షాలు అంటే అవి ఎక్కువ ఆక్సిజన్ ఇస్తాయి, ఎక్కువ కార్బన్ డైఆక్సైడ్ ని పీల్చుకుంటారు. అవి మీరు అడిగేదానికి ఒకవేళ అదే ఆన్సర్ అయితే దేవతా వృక్షాల లిస్ట్ నేను మీకు ఇస్తాను. You can take my means. Please note down my number. Otherwise, Sridhar has my number. You can send me WhatsApp 9100.
Sir, I'll share that in the group, sir. If
You can
anybody
share it.
wants that, they can contact you.
And you can always share my wife's number 9100 930-127. Dr. Prabhavati, she works for Agriculture University. She can also tell what trees you want. She actually worked in agroforest. I have never worked in agroforest. That's why I cannot answer Pravalika. But she can tell you what trees you can grow. I know only one or two trees that actually my wife taught me. Otherwise, I'm not good in that. Actually, trees I'm not good at. She can tell you. Even for your soils, different soils, what type of tree. Because she also worked with, means like she consulted one, I think, one that Rachampeta police station, or something like that. When they were developing Rachkonda police station, when they were developing their entire premises, she was one who offered services like what trees they should have, what type of things. In and around police station, what should they have? In and around play area, what trees? In and around residences, what type of trees. This is what she can give suggestions to them. There was one lady at that point of time, IPS. She called. So we can always give you the list. Means first you identify what is the purpose and what is the soil. Then we can always talk about what exactly fits where, right? Otherwise, most of the time, what happens now? Commercial people, they will tell everything and they will sell it to you, and that may not fit in your place. That may not fit to your purpose or your intention. Then finally, we blame to ourselves that, or otherwise we blame the soil, otherwise we blame the plant. That's not the thing. We are not making a right choice. If somebody says, let us grow sandalwood in Hyderabad or something, they are absolutely misguiding you. And sandalwood tree needs a stone under the soil after a certain level. And that's why we see a lot of sandalwood in Sheshachalam forests and all, where there is a stone after certain depth. And that actually supports the growth of sandalwood. Why we also have a lot of hills and all in and out Hyderabad. Why we cannot grow sandalwood there? Because that needs separate ecosystem or agroecology. So we need to understand. We need to understand what plant wants. It's not that I have this, I will give it to you and you grow. Don't grow. Right? Many times we make wrong choices. Anything
Shravani,
else?
you have something to ask? Shravani.
I got the same question like what type of crops we need to grow, like seeds we need to grow.
It is always based upon the purpose. What do
Yeah.
you want to grow? Why you want to grow? Right?
Sir, one last thing about the pest management control mechanisms.
There won't be one solutions for anything. Like
అక్క మీ వాయిస్ కట్ అవుతుంది అక్క.
no, I'm unable to hear you.
At home, what we can do? Some 2-3 things if you can say.
At home, the best thing is you always use best soil. Means like whether it is in pots or wherever it is, frequently keep spraying with neem oil, or there is something called pongame oil. You keep spraying pongame oil, and as much as possible you try to spray even turmeric oil. If you get turmeric oil or turmeric even solution also you can spray. And I don't say that this will control. And the most important thing, whenever you see a disease or insect, first you remove that and try to kill it or destroy it so that it won't spread. But there won't be any means like as chemicals or allopathic medicines, there won't be means like one-shot solutions in organic farming or natural farming, same as your Ayurveda. Ayurveda also, it starts with building immunity within yourself. So if you see after COVID or during COVID, whoever has got immunity, whether they started using a lot of means like whoever are eating, means like drinking tulsi drops, like panch tulsi drops or honey or turmeric milk, or whoever have taken, they were not touched by COVID. Who were depending on more on chemicals like allopathic medicines, they were hit and they died. If it is the parity between natural farming, organic farming, and Ayurveda is both needs to build the immunity so that even if there is insect or a disease comes, it will bear it. That's why in what we have to do is you have to select those trees or those varieties which have multiple resistance. So if you talk about the tomato, There is a tomato variety developed by Indian Institute of Horticulture Research. It is called Arka Suraksha. Arka Suraksha is like, it has resistance for many diseases, many pests. So it will tolerate. There are certain hybrids, they will not have a resistance. So you have to identify those seeds and grow. And also regularly you have to maintain sanitation, whether you spray with neem oil or pongamia oil, whatever it is. These sanitations you have to care. Whenever there is a disease or whenever there is a pest, you have to first remove it and destroy it. That's it is only based on precautionary and preventive methods you can stop the diseases or pests. There is no one-shot solution like if I spray this insect will die. No, especially in organic one. You cannot kill an organic. It's like if you talk about organic or agroecological farming system, it is only management. Whether whether you stop female getting mated and laying eggs, management. If you can kill the larva, that is management. Otherwise, you cannot control it. There is no control in organic farming. It is only management. Right? Shall we stop and take leave?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sridhar. Thanks for the opportunity. I will
So
take leave.
thank you, sir. Thanks for the session, and thank you all for joining the today's session. We hope the insights shared by Gauri sir has enriched our understanding on seed germination and sapling care. Let's carry forward this knowledge to our field activities for our Plan for Planet project.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very informative. Thank you so much. Okay, bye everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Everyone, bye.
Bye, Akka.